This is Poppy and Rye Chapter 28, called Farewells. With the dam broken, the brook soon resumed its calm, meandering state. The water cleared, the water-logged banks dried. Almost overnight, new green shoots sprang up. Lilies quickly re-established themselves. Once again, butterflies and dragonflies danced lazily over the lagoon's mirrored surface. The beavers retreated far up the brook. No one saw anything more of them, not their teeth, their tails, their dams, or heard their thoughts. Within a week, Poppy and Rye were married by the mice's old nest, which, after it had dried out, had become reclaimed by Valerian and Clover. It was Valerian and Clover who, according to the mouse custom, performed the marriage ceremony. Thistle and Curly Dog held a canopy of wild flowers over their heads, another mouse tradition. The rest of the mouse family were in full attendance, giggling and laughing, squeaking and chatting, endlessly taking more of themselves. As part of the ceremony, Rye read all 32 stanzas of his poem in praise of Poppy. She was charmed. Before the wedding took place, Poppy went to ask Erith to be her best porcupine. The old fellow, who had retreated to a clump of trees beyond the ridge, refused with surly indignation. "I'd rather wait here," he grumbled. "It would mean so much to me if you were there," Poppy pressed. "It would be more to me if you weren't there," Erith retorted. Poppy considered him carefully. "Erith, you never told me what you wanted to say back in the thicket." "Forget it," he muttered. "Erith," she said, "I know you don't want me to say it, but you really are the greatest and sweetest of porcupines, and the ultimate best friend to come back." "I only came back because I couldn't find my way home to Dimwood Forest," Erith sneered. "I needed you to get me back home." "But you did do good," Poppy insisted. "If you hadn't come, the beavers would have won." "Beavers," Erith grumbled. "Bunch of furry-faced chisels." "Well," Poppy said, "I still wish you'd come to the wedding." And before Erith knew what he was doing, she went up and kissed him on the nose. "Mouse mush," Erith muttered. As Poppy went away, he started to rub the kiss away, but suddenly changed his mind. Instead, he sat for a long while, cross-eyed, staring at his nose. Once the marriage ceremony was over, Rye announced that he and his bride would be leaving the woodlands and going to Dimwood Forest, to Poppy's home. The couple invited the family to visit as often as possible and promised to return when they could. Poppy made her own goodbyes. "I have loved your 2 sons," she told Valerian and Clover. "What fine parents you are, and we only hope that we can be the same." They all hugged one another. Such a large family took a long time, and then side by side, Rye and Poppy hurried up the hill. Erith was waiting. "Did you get stuck together?" he asked sourly. "It was a beautiful ceremony," Poppy said. "I would have loved for you to be there." "Love," Erith sneered. "It's less more about that slop the better. Come on, let's go home." They started off. Early on, however, they came to the meadow where Poppy and Rye first met and danced. Rye looked at Poppy, Poppy looked at Rye. They did not need to say a word. They held up their paws and began to dance in the meadow. They dipped and jumped and swayed and twirled and whirled. Erith, keeping a distance, watched from afar. Though he tried to hide it, the old porcupine allowed himself a small, hidden smile and a tear. Catching himself, he frowned and turned his back on the dancers. "Love," he complained bitterly. "Nothing but slug splat stew and toe jam. Phooey." But Erith never did wash his nose. And that's the end of Poppy and Rye.